Okay, I'm going to talk about purchasing power parity today. It's a very useful tool that we can use to find the real value of income that people in other countries are earning. So so let's start with this. Uh, we have Japan's median income and the U.S. median income here. Um, the median income of Japanese people household is 3,750,000 yen. Okay, and the U.S. median income is 63,000 U.S. dollars. So this is the most typical income that U.S. household is earning and Japanese household is earning. And but obviously, let's say you're U.S. citizens, right? You're U.S. citizen. You're working in the U.S. You've never visited Japan. You've never visited Japan. This value doesn't really give you any idea of how what kind of lifestyle this person is having with this income, right? And someone might argue, okay, let's just convert this yen into dollars. Yeah, we have exchange rate, right? We have exchange rate up here. If we apply this, it's going to be 23,000 $584, right, using exchange rate. This feels very, very low, right? Because again, like US median income is $63,000 and Japanese people are earning less than half of that, almost one third of that. Um, yeah, which could be surprising. It's basically saying that if this is true, Japanese people are like three times poorer than U.S. people. They're earning one third of what U.S. people are earning. However, that is not true. Well, if you visited Japan, maybe you know that is true. Japanese people are not. Their living standard is not like one third of U.S. people, and the reason for that is that this neglects the fact that the price level in Japan is lower than price level in the US. Cost of living is lower in Japan than in the US. Like, I know this because I lived in US. Prices are way higher in Japan. So even if you may be earning more, you have to pay more to sustain your life. For example, Takis, my favorite snacks, they were so expensive. We don't have Takis in Japan. We can't directly compare this, but we have similar types of like chips, snacks, whatever. It is definitely way cheaper. Hamburgers. If you just buy one hamburger in a chain, I think it's gonna be like $3 or something, or $4 max in Japan. However, in the U.S., it's gonna cost like $8. I actually pay like $8 or $9 for this at the airport. Yeah, same as meal. Like everything is more expensive in the U.S. than in Japan. So we kind of have to consider that when we measure the real value of income that foreigners or people in other countries are earning. And then this is when purchasing power parity becomes useful. So yeah, purchasing power parity measures differences in levels of prices across different economies, and it measures price of baskets of goods and services that consumers typically buy in each country. So so imagine like imagine something like um, I guess this, right? Yeah, whether you live in Japan or in the U.S., you pay a certain amount of your budget for transportation. You definitely buy food. You definitely pay. Definitely have to pay for housing. You pay for rent or yeah, those things. Those are typical, and healthcare too. Definitely healthcare, insurance, and clothes. You definitely need to buy clothes, and then you may go to movies, or you may like hang out with your friends. You may go out, watch movies, go to beach. There are some entertainments budget too, I guess. So those can be typical consumers, typical goods and services that household in any countries may pay for, right? And then we can measure the price of those baskets of goods and services, and it can be used to find how much worth of income or earning someone gets. So, um, yeah. So we have U.S. price level and Japan's price level here, and it will be one U.S. dollars and 93 yen. What this mean is that baskets of typical goods and services that US people pay for, buy, uh, if that costs $1, let's say, the similar basket in Japan would cost 93 yen. That's what it means. It's about ratio. It can be, let's say, those typical basket costs $100 in the US. Then it would cost 9,300 yen in Japan. So it's about ratio. So if this is $2, this would be 186 yen. So that's the ratio, and which is going to be different from exchange rate. We have exchange rate, right? If you pay, if you want to exchange US dollars with yen, $1 would be converted into 159 yen, which is different. I'm not going to explain why it's different in detail, but it's basically because how exchange rate is determined is it's way more complex. It's influenced by so many different factors regarding trade and things like that, international trade and things like that. So that, and if we just simply use exchange rate, you're gonna get this, which is gonna be useless in understanding the what kind of life Japanese people are having from the perspective of U.S. people. Yes, and we have formula here, PPP adjusted value. We want to find PPP adjusted value, which is like a real value, right? And that equals value in local currency times price levels of base country divided by price level of your local country or target country. It can be target, local, whatever. And to get better idea, we should actually apply this formula. Let's start with this. Let's say you're U.S. American people, and you want to understand how much Japanese people are earning, and you don't know what yen is. You're not used to yen. You don't go shopping in Japan, so you can't really get any idea from hearing 3,750,000 yen. Then we put that here, and we multiply this with this. This one means $1, right? Price level of the base country, which is your country, U.S. $1, and then that is 93 yen in Japan. If Japanese people try to buy what U.S. people would buy with $1, if Japanese people want to buy the same product in Japan, that would cost 93 yen. Yes, and then the result of this would be 40,323 US dollars. So this is how much Japanese people are actually earning. So another way to explain this is that in the US, as a US citizen, you can probably imagine what kind of life the people in the US are having with 40,323 US dollars, right? Maybe I don't know. You might be earning this much money, or you may know someone who's earning this much money in the U.S. And that lifestyle that person is having, the living standard that that person is having, is is kind of like same as what median income of Japanese people are. So that's how much Japanese people. Sometimes it's slightly different. There are many different factors that influence living standard other than this. For example, like how much the government provides social security, how much government may in Japan healthcare costs is like the government supports the healthcare more. We have like universal healthcare system and things like that, or those other factors influence living standards. So it's not perfect. However, it is more accurate than $23,584, right? This is what, if you only use exchange rate, this is what Japanese people are earning. You're gonna think that Japanese people are so poor than they actually are. No, this is better reflection. So Japanese people are still poorer than US people. Japanese people are not as rich as US people because this is the median income of US people household, and this is median income of Japanese people. So it's very useful, right? And we can use use the same formula to do other things. For example, let's say that you're Japanese people who want to understand how much U.S. people are earning. In this way, we want to find a PPP. We want to find PPP adjusted value of U.S. median income, which is 63,000 U.S. dollars, right? For example, my friends in Japan or my family, my siblings, they don't know what U.S. dollar is. They don't go shopping with U.S. dollars. So, um, me telling them that U.S. people, typical U.S. households earn $63,000 wouldn't give them good idea about what kind of life they're having. Then we want to convert it into yen, but we don't want to use the exchange rate because again, exchange rate is not the best way um, to show how much they're earning because it doesn't consider the difference in cost of living in the US and in Japan. So we use the same method. So in this case, the base country would be Japan. So we put 93 yen here, and then at the bottom, denominator would be $1, right? And then the result is 5,859,000 yen. This is how much the typical U.S. household is earning, which is way higher than how much we are earning. The typical Japanese household is earning. So U.S. people are definitely richer, and from the as a Japanese, I can somewhat imagine what kind of lifestyle that people in Japan are having with this much income, and that will be the typical U.S. household. Yeah, very interesting, right? We can do this. It's not only about median income. You can do the same for average income, or you can use this to find the real value of, for example, minimum wage in different countries. Federal minimum wage in the U.S. is $7.25, right? And if we want to convert this to yen and understand how much those people who are working at the minimum wage are having, what kind of life they're having, then we put this here and then we multiply. Same thing. We multiply this with 93 divided by 1, 93 yen divided by $1, and then we will get 674 yen. Very, very low, I would say, because this is actually lower than minimum wage that my prefecture has, for example, which is, I believe it was somewhere around 900 or 1,000 yen, right? So it's crazy. Like, although people in the U.S. are earning more, as we just found out, um, their minimum wage is lower than that in Japan. However, the U.S., like a lot of states in the U.S. have higher minimum wage, like state minimum wage, than $7.25. So uh, it's a bit tricky, but we can kind of tell that it's very, very low. And yeah, we can do this to find other things. If someone says, "Oh, for example, as a Japanese, I'm working in summer. I work, right? I do some part-time jobs, and I get in Japanese yen it would be 3,000 yen. I always get 3,000 yen per hour, and I tell this to my friends in the U.S. and they don't know how much um, they don't really know about yen. They don't go shopping in Japan, so it doesn't give them good ideas. So I sometimes convert this using exchange rate, but again, that in that case I would say, oh, I earn $20, but that's also not really accurate in terms of how much that money actually allows me to buy in Japan. So again, we should use PPP adjusted value. So let's say PPP adjusted value of my wage is so in Japanese yen it will be 3,000 yen, right? Um, and then we can multiply this with base country. So we put base country's current price level, and the base country in this case is US because I want US people to understand how much I'm earning. In that case, that would be $1, and the denominator should have the price level of Japan, which is 93 yen. In this case, let me use my calculator. 3,000 divided by, sorry, no, multiply by 1 over 93. This much. $32, $32.2, let's say. So $32.2 is how much I'm actually earning with my part-time jobs, right? Yes. And make sure that you don't get confused. I really need to emphasize that um, this would be the case if I'm using my money in Japan, right? Because price level in um, Japan is way lower in the US. So although I'm only earning $20, if I use PPP, that would be 32 USD. So, but again, if I say that I'm using this money inside the US, the price level there is way higher. So that would actually mean I'm only earning $20. So if you travel, then you should definitely use the exchange rate to find the real value of how much you're earning. But if you're simply comparing the living standard that um, people from other countries are having, then you should definitely use purchasing power parity. So this is very useful too. And yeah, we can practice more with other uh, values. For example, PPP adjusted value of um, let's say that, okay, at my university, people who do part-time jobs inside campus typically earn somewhere around, I heard, $22, something like that. Just the value of wage that uh, college students get. Okay, this is too long. Let's say just P value of wage at my college. Yeah, so people who work on campus earn somewhere around $22, right? And if I want to understand this as a Japanese, how much they're actually getting, then I should use yeah, this one, US dollars. So the base country should always go at the uh, I think at the top of fraction. So in this case, base country is Japan, so we use 93, and at the bottom, at the denominator, it should be the price level of the US, which is $1, right? Remember, $1 equates 93 yen in Japan when we compare the similar baskets of goods and services that US people are paying and Japanese people are paying. And in this case, we basically multiply 22 with 93. And that is 2,400, sorry, 2,043. 2,043, 46, sorry, 46, was it 3? Yeah, it is 6, sorry, 46 Japanese yen. Yeah, yeah. If I just simply use exchange rate, $22 would probably be somewhere like 3,000 yen, or more than 3,000 yen, which is quite good. Like as a, like I don't know, college part-time jobs, you're getting 3,000 yen. That's really really good. You can buy quite a lot of things with that in Japan. However, no, they're U.S. citizens. They're working in the U.S. They're paying to buy U.S. goods and services. They're not buying Japanese products, which is lower. For example, if they travel to Japan, then we should definitely use the exchange rate. Just like I said, they are actually earning somewhere around 3,000 yen, but that's only the case if they travel to Japan. As long as they stay in the U.S. and they pay for U.S. goods and services, they go to U.S. groceries, then 2,046 yen is a better reflection of how much they're earning. Yeah, so we can use this for anything. It can be minimum wage. We can use this for a state minimum wage. We can use this for median income, average income, or it can be, for example, if you want to know how much, let's say, your president is earning, I think we can search up how much income the U.S. president gets yearly, they earn $400,000. They earn $400,000. Then we can copy and paste this, and PPP adjusted value of US president income, and that is $400,000 multiply by base country, which is Japan. We want to understand how much US president is earning as a Japanese. We are Japanese, and we want to understand how much they're earning. In that case, the top fraction, numerator, I forgot how to say. I know denominator, which is at the bottom. The top should be base country, so it should be 93, and the bottom should be the target country, which is the US, $1, and that will be it's a big number here. Yes, 37,200,000. Yeah, perfect. This is how much U.S. president is earning. Yeah. So, yeah, it really tells us the living standard or what kind of lifestyle they're having as a president, not necessarily how much they can buy when they visit Japan. If the president of the US travels to Japan and eats sushi and ramen and takoyaki and all these things, they're definitely way richer than this. They are, because in this case they will use exchange rate. They're going to convert their salaries to Japanese yen, and they can definitely buy so much. But yeah, so yeah, I think we did enough of this practice. Whether you want to convert U.S. income into yen or vice versa, you can use this formula. Very useful, and it is applicable for any other countries. It can be U.S. dollars versus Mexican peso, I think, or if you want to know how much German people are earning, you can definitely use euro and U.S. dollars, and use the same method to actually to fully grasp how much purchasing power the their income of other countries have. Yes, and if you want to actually try doing this, you can use this website. I just found it very useful. It's gonna tell you the. Oops, it doesn't open. I don't know why. I need to go back later. But this website told me the price level of different countries. If the basket of consumer goods costs $1 in the U.S., the same or similar basket would cost 93, and that's what that website told me. You can use this to find the price of basket of goods and services in other different countries. Yes, please try this. Very useful.